Welcome to Locke Key Unlocked, a podcast about Locke Key on Netflix, as well as the comic books by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez.
Woo-hoo!
I'm Alex.
I'm Justin. We're back.
I'm Pete.
And we are taping a special podcast here, breaking down the official Season 2 trailer. Now, we already did the teaser trailer. That's just a tease.
Yes.
That's just a tease. That's not the
This
real
is tease.
thing.
This is real. This is real.
This is a real trailer.
We're going to have to all deal with this, is what's going to happen, okay?
Exactly.
Okay. This just dropped from Netflix. Very exciting. This is the full, as we mentioned, Season 2 trailer. So
Epic.
lots of stuff going on here. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that first. Pete, what was your reaction here?
Unbelievable. Looks intense. I'm very excited. Looks like Bodhi upgraded from a kind of lightsaber to a samurai sword. Excited about that.
Classic upgrade.
Looks like they jumped Blue Man Group. I'm excited about that.
It's great the Blue Man's back and busy.
Also, like, interesting. Looks
Sorry, just real quick to interrupt you. Hashtag Broadway's back. Okay, go ahead.
Also, looks like we're making our own keys. Huh? Making our own key.
Well, I think this is the big thing to probably talk about because there's a lot of footage that was evident in the teaser trailer here. We saw in the first one that Gabe and Eden, who are now both demons. Gabe was always a demon. Gabe was also, in case you're forgetting any of the details, Gabe was Dodge, the big bad guy who was manipulating things. The Locke kids thought they threw Gabe into the black door and got rid of him. That was actually Ellie Whedon, their gym teacher. Classic. I did the same thing with my gym teacher in high school, to be honest.
Yeah, that's how you get. It's like a requirement for graduating where I'm from. Is you got to throw your gym teacher into a demon dimension.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But we got to see that Eden, who got hit with a piece of the Whispering Iron and became a demon in the last season, was working with Gabe, was creating some sort of key, some sort of skull key. We don't know exactly what it is. It seems to be original for the show. But correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like Tyler and Kinsey might be creating their own key as well.
Yeah, it definitely, like, where it's the first season was about discovery. This feels like both sides, the bad guys and the Locke family, the good guys, are taking command of the keys and key creation, and it really is advancing. I mean, this trailer looks like an epic battle. They're like hardening their, turning their plowshares into spears. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. The other thing. Go ahead, Pete, please.
I was going to say, I really like the Bodhi speech where he's like, yo, everybody seems fucking chill, but, you know, the shit is crazy. We can't just be acting like things is normal.
Word for word. That's a word for word quote from Bodhi.
Yeah, they've really leveled up in terms of the cursing in this season.
Yeah.
They tried to keep it a little more all ages than the comic book, but Bodhi, sailor, like straight up sailor in this trailer.
Potty mouth.
Disgusting.
But I agree with you, Pete. The sentiment that Bodhi's putting out there is like, hey, we thought everything was cool, but like we don't know what we don't know. Is sort of like a summary of what he's saying. Like, and we need to get our shit together. And the way the last season ended with the Locke family being just fully so far away from what's happening and not knowing anything about what they're up against, that's what stresses me out. And this trailer features the villains a lot more than I would expect.
Also, I'm worried about the mom. I'm happy she's going to meetings and stuff like that. But her being like, you would tell me if something's going on. It's like, nah, Mom, I can't even waste time with you because there's so much crazy shit and you're going to forget it anyway. So it's not really worth it.
I feel like you're looking at that in a weird way. And I do want to get back to Nina in a second. But first to talk about the horror element of things. One of the big criticisms of the first season was it wasn't as dark and graphic as the graphic novels, no pun intended. The show was aiming for more of an all ages, dark, sort of 80s Goonies kind of vibe sort of thing going on. And I don't think that necessarily has gone away in this trailer, but there's a couple of moments that are pretty scary. Like we see what looks like some shadow creatures, potentially from the Crown of Shadows, attacking some people in the cave near the Black Door. We also see a moment with a giant spider that was teased in the first teaser trailer as well. super creepy to me. I don't like that at all.
You
But
don't
then,
like little spiders, let alone big ones.
no, none. Just no spiders. No thanks.
No spiders.
I mean, I'm okay. I'm more okay with the little. We talked about this on the last podcast. I'm okay with the little spiders. The big spiders, once you can see the hair on the legs, I'm not into.
Ah, that's right. Yes. And same with people. When you get too close to people, you can see the hair. You're like, no.
Yeah, I'm out of here. No thanks.
Some people say the whites of their eyes, but you say the hair on the legs.
Some people say before you die, you see the hair on the legs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The other thing that I was going to call out, though, is that super creepy sequence, whatever is going on there with what you call the Blue Man Group towards the end, the way they're moving. One of my least favorite, most favorite things in horror, just the sort of herky-jerky movement where you cut a couple of frames out there and they're kind of doing the we're puppets thing. Yeah. Very upsetting.
Yeah.
But who are those dudes?
I don't know.
That whole section, I was like, is this the right show? It feels that was what I was most surprised about in the trailer.
We'll speculate about it. What do you think is going on there exactly?
I don't know, because we also see some people from the Blue Man Group seemed very futuristic. We see some people from the past. Is there time difference here?
Time?
Time exists?
I don't know. I'm speculating wildly because I don't think that matches with the story that we're telling, but I don't know who the Blue Man Group is.
I agree with you. It does seem like there's some old-timey shit going on, so that's interesting. I know they touched upon that a couple times in the comics. They even did some one-shot stuff, so it'll be very interesting to see if that's more a part of this season moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, to give a little bit of background there for anybody who hasn't read the comic books, there's a very brief shot of what looks like some sort of colonial soldiers going on there, and there are a couple of Golden Ages books that they did as one-shots that all connect, not necessarily to a greater story, but they all do tie together to times before the Locke family, the way that we see them both on the TV show and in the comic books, including colonial times. That said, there is a significant portion of the main book where Kinsey and Tyler pseudo-travel back in time to see the origin of the keys, the origin of Key House, where this all kind of started with the Black Door and the Omega Key and everything else. So there's a lot of possibilities in terms of where they can go just based on that one brief shot.
Yeah. Another thing I was excited about is Uncle Dunk feels like he is a little bit more in the know here. And as we saw last season, like, he doesn't have he's missing memories.
Yeah,
he's a little bit on the outs. He is an adult, but he has more of a connection to Kios than I think we know. And this sort of the back end of this trailer, we see him sort of in the mix a bit. So I'm curious to see how they're going to, is he going to get his memories back? Is he going to be a part of the action?
Well, straight up, they use the head key on him in this.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, is that his choice? Does he know about it? Because he doesn't know about magic at this point. And something they established in the first season is that adults not only don't know about magic. Old people
suck.
Yeah, old people suck. We're cool teens on this podcast.
100%. We know about magic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the adults don't know about it, and Uncle Dunka, as we've talked about, had his memories taken out and definitely doesn't remember any of this. So what is using the head key going to do to him? Is it going to break his brain? Is he now in the know somehow, and they're voluntarily, using the head key on him? I don't know.
Well, we do know that Ellie was able to retain her knowledge of this stuff. So maybe we don't know if that applies to Duncan or how that's all going to work. So I'm curious. There's something there. That's definitely feels like there's some heat in that storyline.
Now,
go ahead, Pete.
I was going to tee up. You had mentioned you wanted to talk more about Nina.
Yeah. Oh, you were just going to tee it up. You weren't going to say
that's what you call a tee up.
Yeah.
When Pete says, I'm going to tee you up, and then tease you up.
Start talking.
That's a tee up.
Yeah, the first bit of the trailer is all about Nina and her wrestling with this memory thing that we're talking about, which I thought was very fascinating. That seems like trailers are one thing. They're obviously promoting the show and whatever, so they have their own agenda. But to put that so prominently right at the beginning feels like that's going to be a major part of the season. And ultimately, this first season journey for Nina was all about her dealing with the death of Rendell Locke, her husband, dealing with her alcoholism, and ultimately, I mean, she's never going to get past alcoholism because you don't get past it. It's part of your life forever. But getting past that as best she can, deciding to live in Key House with her family and deciding to move her life forward. But this is a thing that is holding her up and holding her back. And again, to sort of loop it back, it feels like giving it so much prominence right at the top of the trailer isn't just a establishing information thing so much as this is Nina's arc in season 2.
Which
Well,
makes
I
me...
hope she.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, makes me a little concerned because my favorite part of the Goonies isn't the parents and what they're going through. You know what I mean? Like, put them off to the fucking side where they belong and have her be a little bit not sure with the memory, and let's get to the fun and the action.
See, my favorite part of the Goonies is really dealing with the real estate problems that they're facing when it comes to their house.
Can I make a guess what your favorite part of Goonies is, Pete?
Yeah, sure.
Is it Baby Ruth?
Yeah, maybe it is.
All right, I thought so.
Oh, really nailed that. Great friends here.
That was teeing you up for that, Pete.
Oh, thanks.
Great. So much teeing up. I mean, I got to say on this, I hope that we get some wins for Nina in season 2. She had sort of a tough go in season 1. So, like, getting her in a place where she can have positive things, it doesn't necessarily feel that way from this trailer, but I hope we get there.
Don't get me wrong. I think she's a great actor. I think that the character is really cool. I like the character. I think I like the choices that they're making. But knowing the comic book, like, the mom has an important part to play, but she's not one of the main characters.
I get you. You're like, parents suck, kids rule.
Yeah, exactly.
I got you, Pete.
She has an important part to play. What are you talking about?
That's what I said.
That's definitely not what you said. That's the opposite of what you said.
I said she kind of has an important part to play.
Yeah, it kind of is kind of
Pete
important.
doesn't want to see it. He wants that kid life.
Yep.
Yeah.
He wants Bodhi all day.
Point being, I found it very stressful to watch that beginning there and those memory issues, and I got very worried for Nina and what's going to happen with her in the second season. What else do we need to talk about? We see a little bit of Kinsey again walking in the Swan world, whatever is going on there. She seems to have a new head stuff going on. Any other moments or things that you want to call out from the trailer in particular?
I don't know what the Swan world is, but it looks magical, and that seems like a fun place to be.
Yes, I think that's a new version of her head is the main thing that's going on there. So that's kind of exciting. And like you said, we're also getting a sense of there's new keys. I think it seems like there's a quick shot of potentially like the Small World key there, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Like the Disney ride?
Yeah, like the Disney ride, like it's a small world after all. Okay. And I loved that scene in the trailer of Dodge and Eden facing off. That was very ominous. And it also points to, like, we had this thing in the first season where we as comic book readers had a pretty strong suspicion that Gabe was actually Dodge, but they didn't reveal that into the end. So getting Griffin Gluck straight up playing evil by the end here is very, very cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that play out. Like I said earlier, like the fact that it feels like we're getting a lot of play of just the villain side here is nice, because at the end of the first season, they're the ones with the storytelling power because they know what's up and the Locke kids don't. So if we're going to get a season where we get to see both sides of things happening all at once, that feels fun.
Yeah. I tell you, I can't wait for the show to be back. I think they did a great job of the first season of, like, taking a lot of the book, but also making some different choices because it is a different medium. And I'm excited to see how that moves forward. I think they got some amazing actors in place. They got some cool storylines. I'm very interested to see how this all unfolds.
Yeah, and a couple of other quick things before we wrap up here. We get to see what looks like Gabe using the ghost key, which I believe was in the teaser trailer. We also get to see what looks like Gabe versus Eden, which is kind of interesting. He's choking her on a wall, which is pretty messed up. So I'm curious to see how potentially
It's probably just villain semantics. You know what I mean?
just like classic, just like talking to each other as friends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's what demons do.
That's how villains kiss.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, cute. And looks like Scott is hugging Kinsey pretty tight at one point. Pete,
Here for it.
you're a Skinsey shipper, right?
That's right. That's who belongs together. So it'd be nice to see if they finally move that way.
No, I think Pete, you're pretty. I thought you were consistently like fully into Gabe and Kinsey being.
Oh,
Nope.
Kinsey, you're a Kinsey shipper.
You're a Kinsey
No,
ship.
no.
All right, I guess we'll have to see how that plays out for you over the course of the season, since you're so hardcore Ginsey endgame. And the last thing that I'll mention is towards the end of the trailer, Gabe says, "Kill her." Who is he threatening with death? Which character?
I mean,
Probably
easy
one
answer.
of the bad guys.
Oh,
Nice.
he's a good guy now?
Yeah, he's a hero. Again, pushing Pete's Ginsey. Easy answer, maybe Eden, based on what we've seen. Harder answer, Kinsey. But maybe the most surprising and interesting answer, Nina.
Interesting.
Or maybe talking about society as a whole. You know what I mean?
Oh, like kill society?
Yeah.
Like he says something like, "When you bring me out, introduce me as Joker," etc., something like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
He is a Joker. He
is classic Joker. All right, very cool trailer. Very excited
Very
as
cool.
we count down to October 22nd.
Season's coming. It's
Come on.
coming.
For all of you out there, go back, listen to our podcast. We recapped not just every episode
the
of the
comic.
show, but every issue of the every volume of the comic, as well as having a bunch of interviews with Gabriel Rodriguez, the artist of the comic book. And in our comic book club feed, we have a bunch of interviews with Joe Hill, the writer, as well. So very excited to talk about this. Very excited to check in with you. If you'd like to support us, patreon.com/comic book club. Also, we do a live show every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. to Crowdcast and YouTube. Love to talk to you about Locke Key. iTunes, Android, Spotify, Stitcher, or the app of your choice to subscribe, listen, and follow the show. Comicbookclublive.com for this podcast and many more at Locke and Key Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Until next time, keep it locked right here.